be starting Unit 8. We're talking about proportions and percents. We're going to be talking about proportional relationships today. So proportional relationships are relationships that are equal to each other. So problem A says, draw hearts or stars in the diagrams to model a proportional relationship. So looking at our first example there, we have 1 heart to 2 stars. So on the other side, we have 4 stars, and we need to have the same kind of relationship. So in this case, we have 1 heart to every 2 stars. So we're going to have 1 heart to these 2 stars and 1 heart to these 2 stars. So you can see that I've kept the proportional relationship the same. On the left-hand side, I've got 1 heart to 2 stars. And on the right-hand side, I've got 1 heart to 2 stars and 1 heart to 2 stars. So I've kept the proportional relationship the same. Now looking at the second problem there, I've got 2 hearts to every 3 stars. So I have to look on the other side, and again, I've got 6 stars there, so I can think about it as like cutting it in half, because that way I'm going to be able to give the same number of hearts to each star. So I'm going to have 2 hearts to 3 stars over here, and 2 hearts to 3 stars over here. And again, I've kept the same proportional relationship. I have 2 hearts on one side and 3 stars, and on the other side I have 2 hearts to every 3 stars. At the bottom there, I've got 6 hearts to 2 stars, and I need to make that the same. So since I'm cutting it in half, since I'm only going to have 1 star on the right-hand side, I need to have half the number of hearts. So half the number of hearts of 6 is going to be 3. So in order to have 1 star, I have to have 1 star for every 3 hearts. Now let's take a look at problem B. Problem B says which sets of shapes model a proportional relationship between the hearts and the circles. So we have to figure out which sets match each other. So in set A, I have 4 hearts to every 3 stars. In set B, I have 3 hearts to every 2 circles. In set C, I have 6 hearts to every 4 circles. And in set D, I have 2 hearts to every 1 circle. Now, none of these appear to be the same proportion. So what we need to make sure to do is to make sure that every fraction is in simplest form before we can see if there's a match. So 4/3, that is in simplest form. 3/2, that is in simplest form. 6/4 is not in simplest form. We can reduce it. We can reduce both the top and the bottom by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And now it's in simplest form at 3/2. And set D, 2/1, that is also in simplest form. So now that we have everything in simplest form, we can see that set C and set B have the same proportional relationship of 3/2. Now let's try problem C. Here in problem C, we have a problem that is exactly like problem D. It says which sets of shapes model a proportional relationship between the triangles and the squares. This time I want you to try it on your own based on what we just saw in problem B. So I want you to pause the video now, try this problem on your own, then press play again to see if you are right. How did you do? Were you able to figure out that both set A and set D had a proportional relationship of 1/2 or 1 to 2? If you did, great. If not, go ahead and make sure that your paper looks like mine, and then let's move on to problem D. Here in problem D, it says which values can be filled in to create a proportional relationship. So we need to figure out what's happening from one side to the other to figure out how to make something proportional. So looking at our first problem there, we have 1/2 is proportional to, we don't know, over 8. But we do know how we get from 2 to 8. So to get from 2 to 8, I need to multiply by 4. So that would be 2 times 4 would give me 8. So I need to do the same thing on the top of my proportion. So 1 times 4 is going to be 4. And that makes sense. 4 is half of 8. And again, that's going to be proportional to 1/2. Now let's look at another one on the page. 15/24 is proportional to 5 over, we don't know. So we have to figure out how we're going to get from 15 to 5 because we can't figure out how to get to 24 to blank without that. So to get the 15 to 5, we have to notice that we're not going to be multiplying because our number didn't get bigger. So we're going to be dividing. So to get from 15 to 5, we're going to be dividing by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So I have to do the same thing to the bottom. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. So now we know that 5/8 is proportional to 15/24. So now that you've seen these two examples, I want you to try and fill in the rest of the examples on your own. So go ahead and pause the video now, fill in the rest of the problems, then press play again to see if you are right. How did you do? Were you able to figure out all of the proportional relationships and what you needed to multiply by or divide by to figure those out? Hopefully you did. If not, go ahead and fix your paper so it looks like mine. That brings us to the end of this video. So if you like this video, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. If you love this video, go ahead and throw us a sub, and we will catch you in the next one.